Hello, everyone. It's another Tuesday night right here at Statewide Insurers, and tonight is a special night. We'll be talking to you, our viewing audience, about who? Our United States Marine Corps. Today is their birthday. As you know, we specialize in veterans, their benefits. Also, tomorrow, our Veterans Day, November 11th. We're glad you could join us. Seated to my left, Jeremy, what was your rank?
When I retired, I was a gunnery sergeant.
Gunnery sergeant?
In the military police field, yes.
So many people have contacted Jeremy from the standpoint of asking questions, and we're going to get right into that. On my right here, Cheryl Braswell, one of the owners of Statewide. A ton of information he brings to tonight's meeting, as well as what we're talking about dealing with AEP, Annual Enrollment Period. And I know you've heard a lot about it on TV tonight. But let's start with Jeremy and the veterans. Jeremy, we understand you have been getting a lot of phone calls. What are my benefits? What can I get? What should I get? Do I need to apply? In fact, let me just throw it to you and let you take it away, because you've been getting a ton of phone calls.
I have, and I appreciate that. Like Joey said, today is the Marine Corps birthday, and fellow veterans, you can have your day tomorrow, but everybody knows November 10th every year is our day to celebrate and enjoy 245 years of serving our country and going around the world and doing what a lot of people can't do or choose not to do. So to all my brothers and sisters out there, both on active duty and those who are no longer on active duty, I wish you the best, and I wish you a happy birthday. I hope you enjoy yourself. Take it easy. The night is long, and you've got tomorrow to have another day. And for those who are in Veterans Day events tomorrow, look forward to seeing you, especially the one here in Rocky Mount with our mayor. But happy birthday to everybody, and for the veterans tomorrow, since we won't see you, I hope you enjoy that day as well.
Hear, hear.
To get on to your topic about what we're hearing and the calls that I'm receiving, it's my phone isn't ringing nonstop, but it is coming off the hook sometimes with calls, and a lot of them are on different topics, and I'm really enjoying the fact that people are asking me so many different things, because it lets me know that it's not the same problem or the same question. It's that there's such a wide range, and everybody's a little different. I had a call on Friday that was addressing pharmacies and medications, and then I had a call last Thursday that was a totally different thing. It was more about cost. So I like the fact that I'm seeing that it really is concerns that are based off the individual needs. And we stand up here and say that, hey, the reason to come see us is because we can help you look at the individual plans and the different coverages that are available and help you tailor the coverage you need for your circumstances. Well, the coverages, the questions that come in speak to that same variability and situation. So
Questions even where we are now, no matter what your rank is or where you are, if there was a question about what benefits that I was to get, Jeremy, could they call you to get a response to that?
Absolutely. And my number comes up on the screen sometimes. You'll see that the office and Cheryl's number is up there, but if you'll just give us a call at 252-903-0670, you'll get straight to Cheryl. And we ask that you call that one for the time being, because we're having some issues with our telephones. And so that's the most direct line. Please reach out to us and give us a call, because that's the first step in coming together and learning what it is that is your situation and finding the best solution for whatever needs you have.
Is there a particular, as you were stating earlier, a particular question, because we're going to get to Mr. Browswell here in just a second about AEP and some of the other benefits that our veterans can do or have access to. But Jeremy, is there a particular question that keeps surfacing, keeps coming up? Why can't I get this benefit? What am I entitled to? Who do I call? I know they have to reach out to you, that's no question, and I know our viewing audience, you know this, and I'm encouraging you to do that, especially with the 2 days that Jeremy so graciously and professionally let you know about. The Marine Corps Day, as well as what? Veterans Day tomorrow. Anything you'd like to address before going to Mr. Braswell about particular topics that keep bubbling up to the top?
Sure. If I had to bring up one or two that is a common theme or a common question, it would certainly be what I mentioned just a minute ago, which is the question about medications. The question that came up Friday was, one of our clients wanted to know, she says, hey, I have 5 medications I take every day. I have 2 medications that I take as I need them. And then I have a few that I take over the counter, and I'm not sure if there's a plan that might cover them. But with this collection of information, how do I find out which plan will cover my medications? And ultimately, what is it going to cost me to have those medications delivered or received and provided? And so we have a resource that I think Cheryl could provide some more details about that.
What we can do for you, we have access to a program through the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services that allows us to take your prescriptions, put them into the program, and then it will tell us every prescription plan that's available for your use. You know, if you live here in Nash County, this is everything that's available in Nash County. And you know, I'm seeing on average there'll be 20 to 25 plans that'll show up as possibilities. And the great thing about this program is that, one, it keeps a log of the medications that you have. We'll set you up actually at your own account so you can refer to it to get additional information. But then it will tell us what the individual cost of each medication is. It will give us a schedule. You know, like for example, people who are right now in the annual enrollment period, your drug plan, if you make changes, will go into effect on January 1st. So it will give us each month what your totals will be for every single month during the course of the year. And it will also tell us, I'm getting a little ahead here, a little bit, Jeremy, but it will also tell us what each pharmacy will charge for those medications. It's worth looking into.
Cheryl, a quick
You'd be
question
surprised.
that you're looking at there, not jumping on your words, but you said something, AEP. For the listening audience, what does AEP stand for?
Sure, good question. AEP is the annual enrollment period, and that runs from October the 15th through December the 7th each year. And if you have an existing drug plan,
Okay.
a prescription drug plan, or, and we'll talk about this a little more later, a Medicare Advantage plan, that's the time of year that you can make changes in those plans.
So those two products, we're talking about prescription drug plans. You can check out as many as you want. Am I correct, gentlemen? At the end, December 7th, last day, October 15 to December 7th, whatever plan you have then is the plan you must stay with, is that correct?
That's right.
Correct.
So you're talking about drug plans, prescription drug plans, and you're also talking about Medicare Advantage, which I'm sure
Yes.
you're seeing the TV program just loaded up with everything. And that's what Cheryl's going to talk about the second part of this. Cheryl, my question is, you made a statement about the county of Nash. From what I understand, our TV viewing audience is in 17 counties
Right.
of who we reach. Does that apply differently? Maybe I should throw that question to you. Does that apply differently in every county that we're looking at? How does that affect our viewing audience?
To be in a prescription drug plan, you have to live, well, the county you live in determines the plans that are available to you. So it may be a little different in Warren County than it is here in Northampton County, Wilson. You know, it depends on where you live.
So that's
And-
another good reason to give Cheryl or Jeremy, as we're talking about, a call to find out where you plug into this system
Yes.
that you're both talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you do not know, and let's say you purchase accidentally the wrong plan, what happens after that if you have to get through to December 7th and you're stuck with a plan that doesn't work for you? What happens then?
It can be an interesting year.
Are you actually stuck with that
You
plan?
have to stay with that plan. And that's a question that we get asked a lot. You know,
Okay.
well, suppose I change medications in May. What happens?
Which happens to all of us.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. And what you would do at that point is you can file for an exception, what's called an exception, and request that, you know, my doctor wants me to take ABC medication and my plan's not going to pay for it. You know, that plan says we don't cover that particular medication. Your doctor, and they're familiar with this, this is not something new, they deal with this all the time. I helped my dad with that situation just in the last month. He had a medication that was pretty pricey, and, you know, we were able to get an exception file.
So even the viewing audience could call you as the owner of Statewide, and of course the associate, and you'd be able to help them kind
Sure,
of navigate through
we can
this?
help you navigate, give you some guidance on that, because your doctor will be familiar with the process, and they can help you. I mean, I was able to help my dad out. We lowered his cost. It was a prescription that was going to cost him out of pocket about $94, and we got it reduced by $50.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Now, does that work the same way, Jeremy, with the veterans? Because I know some people will get, I think you called it, because this is your forte, and I'm still learning, but they call it the VA, where some veterans may get their medications there. Does any of this apply to our veterans?
Well, it can become quite a maze when you try to figure out
Yeah.
what Medicaid coverage they have through Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement plan, and then what they get from the VA. And then it gets further convoluted when you decide where they're getting the medication filled from. If it's from a military treatment facility or an MTF, like Seymour Johnson, or even over at Cherry Point, or you try to get it filled from a retail pharmacy or a mail order pharmacy like Express Scripts, it really changes the dynamic of what actually they have access to and what the costs are going to be. The easiest way to figure out the right path and the right square pegs putting into the right square holes is to meet with us and talk about it and go through it and putting the different plans together to look at it. Because to answer a simple question and say, well, hey, it's going to cost X amount of dollars if you go to an MTF for this particular drug, for this particular plan, that's impossible to try to guess because there are so many different variables. When most veterans who do use the MTF, the military treatment facility, find that the costs are much lower because of the access to the medication from that direct source.
But both of you are making this very simple, even for myself, to look at it from a civilian standpoint, as far as the veterans, as far as people walking into the office. So it sounds like to me, gentlemen, the best thing to do is for our viewing audience to pick up the phone and call that number on the bottom of the screen. Now, whether it be Jeremy or Mr. Braswell or some of their staff at Statewide Insurers that will be assisting you, at least you're taking what I would call the first step in the right direction to getting a true, valid answer to what you're looking for. Cheryl, anything that you want to add as far as annual enrollment period? We know we're halfway through. Anything that you'd like to add to that standpoint?
Just, if you have a situation where you're going to be making some changes in your prescription plan, or you just want to have it shopped, because I did one today, and I know this sounds crazy, but the difference between two prescription plans was $8,000 over the course of the year.
And that's why you want to call.
Yeah, and it even surprised me, how much difference it was. And, we can help you do things that will, prevent you from paying prices you don't have to pay. And, the money you make should also be the money that you get to keep. And so we want to help you keep as much of it in your pocket as we possibly can.
That is a great point. Well, guys, even in our first segment here that has blown by, I hope our listening and viewing audience have seen from our Marine Corps, and as Jeremy so graciously said, our other veterans, I'll leave it at that, and of course our civilians. We're going to be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Welcome back. It is the quickest 30 minutes, oh gosh, let alone in the week, but even right now, we're down to a short amount of time, all things Medicare. We're going to jump right into it. We've been talking about the veterans, Marine Corps birthdays, the veterans holiday tomorrow. Make sure you reach out and give your thanks to a veteran, whoever it may be. Just walk up and shake his hand and just say thank you. What we're going to get into right now, very briefly, because we're time limited, but Mr. Braswell, Cheryl is going to talk to us about there are what we call original Medicare plans. We've grown up with them, A, C, D, F. It gets so convoluted. But so many people now are looking at Medicare Advantage plans that has co-pays, deductibles, co-insurance. I get so confused. Mr. Braswell is going to tell us about a plan. Well, Cheryl, tell us about it.
Yeah. The Medicare alphabet does get pretty convoluted.
Yes, it
And their plans change from time to time, and you have to, be aware of what's available and how, you might be able to make use of it. And this particular plan, there's now a plan called Plan N, like in Nancy. It's a little different from your traditional or standard Medicare supplement plan. With the standard Medicare supplement plan G, which is now the more common
True.
plan, you pay a deductible beginning of the year. First couple times you go into the doctor's office, you're going to pay the first $198.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And that's considered, for a Medicare supplement plan, that's considered your deductible for the course of the year. And I will always default to telling you about what's happened with my dad, because he's been on a Medicare supplement plan now he'll be 90 next week.
Outstanding.
So
Yes, sir.
he's had a Medicare supplement since he was 65. He pays his annual deductible at the beginning of the year, because I always get the phone call and say, hey, why am I having to pay this money?
I'm sure.
Once you pay your deductible, then the balance of your year is covered. And I can say that with confidence in looking at the things my dad's had to do through the years. He's had a half a dozen pretty major medical procedures that have been done, and y'all, I can tell you're familiar with these names. We've ended up at the hospital at UNC, over at Wake Med, and I think we did a trip over to Durham a few times. And this is the number that we had to pay.
He paid nothing
out of pocket.
After he paid that deductible, he paid nothing.
Has paid nothing.
Amazing.
And I see the bills. He had a procedure done at Duke back in February, and I get the phone call. I got this bill here from Duke for $16,000. And I said, Daddy, I don't think you're going to have to pay that. And that was the amount billed for the procedure. And Medicare paid for 80% of it, and my dad's Medicare supplement paid the 20% difference.
Now, is this Plan N that you're talking about?
No,
Talk to us about
he
the
is on
same?
Plan G.
G, there's a difference. Okay,
Yeah,
I
which is,
see.
like I said, that's the most common plan right now.
Okay.
I have been talking to my clients and prospects over the past year or so about Plan N. It's relatively new on the scene, and is getting more and more popular. And if you take the things we just talked about in Plan G and make one change, this is the difference between Plan G and Plan N. When you go to the doctors, you're asked to pay a $20 copay.
Okay.
Each time you go into the doctor's office. If you go into the emergency room, you're asked to pay, I believe it's either $45 or $50 if you go into the emergency room. So your premium is going to be less. I'm just doing some generalities here, but for a person turning 65, a standard Medicare supplement plan for men is going to run somewhere right in the neighborhood of $100 a month.
Okay.
On Plan G. Plan N is going to run something in the neighborhood of $85, $86, $87, somewhere right in that range.
Very good.
So you're looking at, $12, $15 a month less premium cost. And so if you're a person who goes to see the doctor 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, you're ahead on what you're spending for your Medicare supplement costs.
Understood.
If you're somebody who has, chronic situations and you're going every month, we'll sit down and talk about, would you be better off just to do the standard plan or, look at the plan in. So that's your kind of your money difference, your financial difference there. But here's something I think that's going to be very important as time goes by. Plan G is the most popular plan right now. A lot of people signing up for it.
True.
And eventually, those folks are going to have some medical situations. So my point is, Plan G is going to be getting more expenses that they have to pay out, claims that they have to pay out. And we feel like, the Plan G premiums are going to go up fairly rapidly or more rapidly than the Plan N. Because the Plan N, again, you're paying a copay each time you go in the door. So, historically, people, if they have to come out of the pocket, they think a little bit more about whether or not do I really need to go to the
Then
doctor's office.
let me add with you on this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about G and N in your original Medicare. Now, the question we talked to Jeremy about on the veterans is let's say they went with a Medicare Advantage. Let's say they came in and talked to the two gentlemen and said, I'd like to change from where I am and go to a Medicare Advantage. It's cheaper. I see I get this, I get this. Gentlemen, what happens a year later that they come back and they say, I want to go back to original Medicare. I made a mistake. I've gone to Medicare Advantage, whether a veteran or whether not, and I've just been notified we only have a limited amount of time. So, gentlemen, I'm going to have to ask you to step it up. How do we defend? Mr. Braswell, Mr. Jeremy, I'd like to change, but I've had an issue. I now currently have cancer. I now currently have diabetes. I now currently, fill in the blank, listening audience. How do you handle that?
If you're going from Medicare Advantage and you want to go back to basically to a Medicare supplement plan,
Okay.
you have to go through underwriting.
Does that mean questions or anything
Questions.
that you've got
There's
to do
questions.
with the client?
Yes, we would sit down with you. It'll take us 10 to 20 minutes, and we will ask you the questions, and I will tell you my opinion at that point that, I think you probably will pass underwriting or you will not. There is no cost to you to do this. There is no effect on what you currently have.
Right.
So if you don't pass underwriting, whatever you had in place stays in place, no change.
You don't
to that
lose
plan.
anything.
You don't lose anything, no cost goes up, nothing changes with what you had. It's just a matter of, you have to be underwritten. And it's not impossible, y'all. Again, I go back to my dad. We've rewritten him 3 times in the last 10, 15 years.
And been very blessed that he is healthy as he is.
Yep.
Jeremy, do you have anything on the veteran side that would equate to where Cheryl's coming from with his father or anyone else to give some advice to the listening audience?
No, I wouldn't, I don't have anything to add to what he has touched on, because he had it pretty succinct and very clear.
Good.
But I would certainly keep in mind that since November the 9th, which was yesterday, the open opportunity for making revisions to your TRICARE plan
Oh, good point.
is going on right now, and that ends in the middle of December. So those who are of Medicare age and are also on TRICARE for life, and for those who are still under the old CHAMP VA system, that window of opportunity to make revisions is right now. Even though I'm not in the age bracket for Medicare, my family and I have already made the changes we were going to make yesterday, because we did the revisions, we looked at what we needed to have for the next year.
So that's for the veteran that's in an open enrollment as well?
Right.
I was not aware of that.
Yep. Yeah, so we have an open for veterans who are who have coverage through TRICARE, which they have their own carriers for the different parts of the country. Whatever your carrier is has their window, and for us here on the East Coast, and I could be wrong, but I believe the West Coast is on the same one. I won't quote that one just now, but my window was yesterday all the way through the middle of December.
Is it December the 15th?
December the 15th, I believe,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But this is the time for us to look at dental and vision and medical coverage and make the changes to the ones that we want to adjust. And this year, we adjusted all three of them because the changes that were occurring to our plan for 2020 went up. Because like Cheryl was saying, when the carrier picks up on a lot of expenses, the history of those expenses usually drives cost.
Yep.
And so we made some changes to keep the exact coverage, the exact benefits, if you will, but went to a different plan.
Very clear from both of you gentlemen, and I am so blessed to have them both as my wingman sitting right here beside of me. In closing, all three of us want to say thank you for your time. Reach out to Statewide, whether on the veteran side or the civilian side, and ask that question that you're unsure about, because the question you do not ask is the one surely going to come back and talk to you later. In closing, again, happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps.
Amen.
And tomorrow, November 11th, to all of our veterans, reach out and thank one. Thank you again for your time. God bless. Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
Good night.